So I actually did a review of The Sims 4 base game, playing it alone without any packs installed a couple of months ago, and I actually found the game was not too bad to mess around with. Granted, it wasn't the most fun thing without the packs, but at least it was alright. So we are starting off mediocre with an it's alright. So the free holiday pack, see, I am biased because I love Christmas, so I'm very sorry, but it is going in really fun. So Outdoor Retreat, as the first pack ever for The Sims 4, it's pretty safe to say they didn't really go above and beyond with this one. I guess the herbalism skill and stuff is okay, but it gets a little bit outdated when you think of other packs like the Get to Work Scientist Korea or the Realm of Magic Potions. A lot of the gameplay as well is not really that fun. The only thing I see people use for this pack is just a stargazing thing, which isn't really that fun anyway. People just do it to raise up relationships faster. So unfortunately, I will say it is pretty boring. Spa Day, see, before the refresh, I would have said Spa Day is worse than Homework because I don't want to watch my Sims go to a spa. That's really boring. I personally think Korea's gameplay is really fun to play around with, especially if it's like a self-employed career that you can do with Spa Day. I do think it has a lot of variety in terms of what you can do, but I wouldn't say it's a really fun thing that I go back and play again and again and again every single time. So I'll just say it's fun to mess around with. Dine Out's a really tough one because it's really glitchy, but at the same time, I honestly just love running and owning a restaurant. Carl's Guides, a very popular Sims 4 review YouTuber, actually made a mod, and it includes Dine Out Reloaded, which basically changes up Dine Out completely, and it makes it honestly so much better, like literally so much better. I'm going to be doing a review of it soon, but like if you have that mod, I genuinely think that it's a genuinely fun pack to play with, and mods make the Sims 4 fun, so I wouldn't say the pack alone is like really fun, but with the help of modders, it is really fun. So apologies to console players, but it is going in really fun. I've always loved occults in The Sims, but in The Sims 4, I do feel like occults are very good. Of course, we have some like aliens in Get to Work, which are not really the best, but in terms of the main game packs for occults, being vampires and werewolves and Realm of Magic, I honestly think these are really great packs. It's just, I don't really feel like they come with enough challenge to say like it's really fun and I want to do it every single time I play. So I'm popping vampires and werewolves and Realm of Magic in fun to mess around with. The Parenthood pack, see, I did a review on this pack recently, and I think a lot of Simmers love the idea of parenting your kids. It's just, I personally didn't really find it that fun when I played it. For me personally, it felt more tedious more than anything because the game isn't really built for family gameplay. And when you try and do family gameplay in a game that's just meant for young adult Sims, it doesn't really work the best, and a lot of the interactions and character values and parenting skills, etc., just didn't really feel like they were that fun. Instead, I just felt more like I was doing these parenting things for the sake of it, just so that my Sims would grow up to be politer, but then nobody plays The Sims 4 with one save file long enough to see their Sims be polite as adults. Even if they are polite as adults, I don't really care. So unfortunately, I will say Parenthood is worse than Homework. I know that's very unpopular, I know. Jungle Adventures is actually one of my favorite packs. I honestly think it has a lot of replayability value, and I honestly don't know why it's not even more popular because it has so much to do. I really love the idea of collecting things and like challenges and stuff. I think that's why I enjoy games like Animal Crossing, because I just like honestly collecting the bugs and fish and stuff. I have always been a completionist when it comes to video games. I do like to 100% complete a game before I finish it. And with Jungle Adventures, it feels like something that I can complete, because a lot of packs in The Sims 4, I feel like you can't complete them, if you know what I mean. It's more so just an experience that you can do. Whereas this pack, I genuinely feel like I want to complete the artifact collection and I want to complete the skills and everything. And I honestly just find it really fun. So that's right, it's going in really fun. Strangerville's another weird one because I would say it's really fun, but it doesn't really have the replayability value. Don't get me wrong, like it's the kind of thing that I might go back and play like once a year, but it's not something that I go back to again and again and again. And because it's just a very niche thing that follows a very linear path, and because it doesn't have that replayability value, I won't say it's really fun, but it's just fun to mess around with at the time. Journey to Batuu, the for you. You're going in worse than homework, mate. I couldn't think of any... do you know what? That was harsh. I feel like we're harsher than we need to be for Journey to Batuu. I'm just putting it in boring. Don't get me wrong, like, I do think the pack is a very dull experience and doesn't take any essence of The Sims in the slightest. Especially because these days a lot of people love building in The Sims 4, but you can't really do that with this pack. I just feel like the experience is not enough to substantiate it actually encompassing what The Sims 4 is. And although it's not the most tedious thing, like I can imagine some people will enjoy, it is quite boring. Next up, we have Dream Home Decorator. See, this pack, this is an unpopular opinion because this pack is very popular, but I honestly think Dream Home Decorator is really, really dumb. I just think that AI for actually designing people's houses is way too shallow and just doesn't go deep enough. However, I do admit that it is fun building in The Sims 4, and especially doing interior design, you don't really get that much opportunities to go in other people's homes and decorate their homes for them. If you just go into Build Buy and go to somebody's home, you're just decorating it your way, whereas if you actually do it in The Sims way, it feels a lot more personalized and just a little bit more meaningful than just building in a house. Therefore, I will say it is fun to mess around with, and I personally do like to mess around with it now and then. My Wedding Stories. Oh my gosh, I could chat about this one for ages. If you've seen my video where I tried to play the My Wedding Stories pack, you'll know how tragic it was. This is worse than homework. It literally is hell. If I'm going to hell, if God's sending me to hell, I'm playing My Wedding Stories 24/7 non-stop. That's my, what's the word, purgatory. That's what I'm doing in hell. So for the expansion packs, Get Together, I would say Get Together's a really, really fun pack to play with. It just doesn't really have a consistent theme to say like, yeah, I love playing with Get Together. Like when I play with Jungle Adventures, I play Jungle Adventures, I love it. But when I play Get Together, I'm like, what am I actually doing with the Get Together pack? I don't know. It doesn't really have much of a consistent theme. So I'm just going to say it's all right. Get to Work, honestly, I do love Korea's gameplay in The Sims 4. Get to Work, you're going straight and really fun. I absolutely love making retail stores in The Sims 4. I also love the scientist career. I think it's really, really fun. And I just think it adds another layer of depth to your game that actually just makes it so much more engaging. And as a completionist, I do like raising myself to level 10 in the career of the scientist skill because it can actually be quite difficult and it's fun to unlock all the things along with it too. City Living, see the thing about this pack again, it doesn't really have like any challenges or anything specific to do in the pack. It's more so just a general life experience. But one thing I do like to do is messing around. I mean, why does everything have to be sexual? What I mean is, I do like messing around in the city. That makes it even worse. What I'm saying is, I like starting off in a rundown apartment in The Sims 4, and I like getting them in a nice career and working my way up and making my Sims gain friends. I feel like it's more natural than just making friends via the welcome wagon in The Sims 4. So because of that, I will say it is fun to mess around with. I could make another innuendo about me and other things being fun to mess around with, but I won't go there. Tell me you're horny without telling me you're horny. Anyway, Cats and Dogs. So I would actually say Cats and Dogs is not the most engaging pack in terms of pet gameplay. In terms of pets, they just kind of do their own thing and they don't really form a part of gameplay. Like, you gotta feed your pets. You might be able to teach them a few tricks, but other than that, the pets don't really do that much. They just do their own thing and it's like, it's not even gameplay. You're just watching an animation of a pet. I do think the veterinary career is quite fun, but it is a little bit glitchy, but it's not the worst pack in the world. I will say it's just all right. When it comes to the Seasons pack, I feel like Seasons a weird one because it should have been something that should have been in the base game firstly, and secondly, I feel like it's more of a background pack. It has a very passive role in gameplay. Like, it just gives you weather and it gives you certain holiday events now and then, but it's not something that you're directly like, yeah, I want to play the Seasons pack today. It's more so just a background thing, and I know this is very unpopular, but if we're just talking about enjoying The Sims in terms of just having fun, I will say it is pretty boring. Especially a lot of the holidays as well, they can actually be a little bit tedious too. Get Famous, see, a lot of people don't like this because it's pretty bad value for money because the world is quite small and it only comes with one career, but for what it's worth, I actually think this pack's really cross-pack compatible, and I honestly love making my Sims famous. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's me trying to reflect my inner feelings. Do I want to be famous? I don't think I want to be properly famous. I wouldn't mind being micro-famous, but I do like making my Sims famous. I wouldn't say it's the funnest thing in the world. Like, being a celebrity in The Sims 4 is not that great just because the AI in the game is a little bit dumb, but for what it's worth, I do think it's fun to mess around with. Island Living. Do you know what? I'm sorry, Island Living, but you're worse than homework. homework. Firstly, I think the mermaids are terrible. They always glitch. They don't really have engaging gameplay at all. If anything, it feels like a chore to become a mermaid and do mermaid things. I also find that the environmentally friendly cleaning up the island career thing is extremely tedious. I think the festivals get really tedious after a while. I think every single neighborhood in the world looks exactly the same. It's pretty tedious and boring. I don't want to watch my Sims sunbathe all day. I would admit that the building is okay, but because it's only limited to that world, it's not the most engaging. So I do honestly really find it tedious when I have to play this pack for a video. Discover University. See, I wouldn't say Discover University is worse than homework because it literally is homework. That's all the pack is. I'd say it's challenging, but it's not always challenging in a fun way. It's challenging in a like, oh my god, I have to make my Sim do their homework, then I have to make them do an assignment, then I have to make them prepare for a presentation. It's a lot of stress. Do you know what? I'm sorry, but it is worse than homework. Like, I don't want to relive my university trauma. I want to relive going out clubbing 4 times a week, university lifestyle. Like, I'd love to relive that, but the actual trauma of doing homework, which is basically what this pack is, I can't deal with it. Eco lifestyle. See, I really love this pack for the fact that you can actually have an effect on the world. I personally love being a little bit evil in The Sims 4 and causing a lot of pollution. Unfortunately, it's actually really difficult to make the whole world really polluted. You can only do the opposite and make it really nice. But like with a bit of effort, you can do it. And even if you like the opposite as well, it's actually really rewarding, like seeing you go through the careers and actually making the world look really nice and doing all the environmentally friendly stuff. Guys, the planet is dying. Hate to make this video deep. Talking about fun, let's go deep into the planet dying. But for what it's worth, like, I will say the pack is fun to mess around with. Snowy Escape. But do you know what? At first, I was like, oh, that'd be nice doing a bit of skiing in The Sims 4. And then I did it and I was like, oh, is that it? It's honestly so monotonous. Like, you just watch them perform an animation. Like, it's so dull. The hobbies system in it is really crap. It doesn't work very well. It's not deep enough. The festivals get boring after a while, just like Island Living. I'm sorry, mate, you're worse than homework. Cottage Living. See, call me biased because I am British. Do you know what? These days, now I'm getting a bit older, I am a little bit of a boring old fart. Like, I love the idea of just growing vegetables and living a simple, happy life. That's my idea of fun. Anyway, I've always liked farming games. Like, I always loved Harvest Moon when I was younger. I love Stardew Valley now. What is it about farming in simulation games? It is so fun. I am going to say this one is really fun. High school years, again, do I want to relive my bullying trauma? No, I do not. Sorry, you're going in worse than homework. In terms of the stuff packs, I'm just going to highlight a few out for you. Paranormal stuff. This comes with an amazing career. I absolutely love it. I think it's absolutely chaotic and mayhem, and I honestly find it really fun to play with again and again and again. Laundry Day. See, this is going to surprise you. I would honestly say Laundry Day is worse than homework, and a lot of people love Laundry Day, but I honestly couldn't think of anything worse than washing clothes. Guys, do you know what? In real life, I love cleaning. I genuinely love it. It's one of my favorite things to do, but I cannot deal with washing my clothes. I love the smell of my fabric conditioner, but that's as far as it goes. Vintage glamour stuff, you're going in fun to mess around with. I absolutely love having the idea to have a butler to mess around with. I didn't mean to do that. I did it again. I wouldn't want to mess around with a butler. No, I would not. I do not have daddy issues, and I am not attracted to mature men. But in terms of like fun gameplay, like it's nice having a butler. Do you know what I mean? Tiny living stuff as well. I will admit it's all right. I don't really think it's the best pack in the world, but if you like the idea of restraints when building and build challenges, then I do think it's an all right challenge. Nifty Knitting. Weirdly, I would actually say this is really fun to mess around with, just because I like the idea of just having an old granny doing loads of knitting at home and just getting really rich and forcing all the kids and stuff to wear really ugly knitted socks and things. I just think it's a very quirky bit of gameplay that I like, and I like messing around with it now and then. I don't like messing around with mature people. I mean the pack itself. In terms of all the other stuff packs, honestly, they're all just going in all right. The thing about stuff packs is they don't really come with like that much gameplay to substantiate them really being fun. Actually, guys, the fitness stuff, you are worse than homework, because that pack is honestly traumatizing. But the rest of them, they're just all right. In terms of kits, obviously, I'm not including them because they don't contain literally any gameplay apart from Buster Dust. Where are you? You're worse than homework. Everything else, guys, that was it. Every now and then I do love doing tier lists and rankings for a bit of fun. I have a whole playlist of them here, so if you enjoy them, make sure you check out another one. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.